Hi everybody, my name is Joy Acaso and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm also a parent-child relationship specialist. And welcome to the live stream for today. Maybe some of you are on lunch break, if you are at work, or just taking a break at home, and I wanted to check in with you. Hi Emily, how are you? I hope you're doing well with the baby. I haven't heard anything otherwise about your pregnancy, so I'm assuming that you are doing well. Thank you for joining me today. I'm a little sleepy. I'm just being honest here. My previous client, the session that we had ran a little late, so that is why I am coming on a little bit later than what I had scheduled. Oh, good. I'm glad that everything is good. Yes, so I am a bit sleepy. Our 9-year-old daughter is part of a school play for the first time in 4th grade, and she's really excited. So they had a rehearsal this morning really early, so I had to just get everything done earlier this morning, and I went to bed late, and that's what happened. This is real life, right? This is real life. We sleep last and we are the first one to wake up. So that is my situation right now, and I am with clients all day today. If you are new to me, I see my client base is really parents and working moms, and we talk about everything under the sun to make life easier and go smoother with their family and balancing everything that is going on, because we do have a lot going on as parents. And today I was going to talk about parenting tools and techniques that don't work and ones that actually work. Well, I'm going to address one particular topic, because one of the things that I get asked is that what is the best way or the most effective way to discipline my child? Like, that comes up a lot in conversations. And can I just say right off the bat, being honest here, I'm not sure how to answer that question in one sitting, because the reason is that I feel like that question is so loaded. There's a lot of layers behind that. I'm curious as to why is that the first thing that people ask. But there is a quote that I heard, which for me really meant a lot, and this is by Joseph Murray, and he said that in order to change the external conditions, you have to change the cause. And I thought a lot about it and how it applies to parenting, because I always say that kids behave better when they feel better. So if the external conditions, which are, what are some of those external conditions that frustrate us as parents? When they're not listening, when they're misbehaving, when they're not doing their homework, when they're, getting trouble in school, at school, when they don't do as they're told, or when we have to repeat ourselves so many times just to get our point across. So those are some of the external conditions in parenting, right? That quote he wasn't talking about parenting specifically, but I thought it applied so much to what I'd wanted to address today. And so those are the external conditions, but like I think that in parenting we get very concerned about the external. Like, I need this to change. I need your behavior to change, which is understandable. I mean, who doesn't want their children to listen and to behave in school? Nobody wants to get those phone calls, from the teachers or the principal. But the second part of that quote says, we need to change the cost. So then we need to understand why or what's affecting that behavior. Are they feeling some type of way about themselves? Are they feeling some type of way about the home environment, about school? Is something bothering them at school? Is something bothering them, with their peers? Anything. Like, we can't change the external conditions or the external environment just by putting Band-Aid on it. And here is a parenting tool that we like to use a lot as parents, and it does not work. Punishments and rewards. So, you do something wrong, I take something away from you. You do something right, and here comes the reward. Rewards are actually the worst. And if you go back to my old live streams, I talked about how too much praise does more harm than good to our children, and that's where the reward system, you'd have to be very strategic about the reward system if you are going to use it, because you cannot reward everything that your children does. Why? Because it takes away the pleasure, the innate pleasure in them to do it. So if my child is being honest, which honesty is a character that you should be developing, right? And so do I reward him for being honest, all the time? Do I praise him and compliment him for something that he is supposed to be doing, or supposed to be demonstrating in his character? So if you as a parent are depending on the punishment and reward system, I would suggest scale it back a little bit and really see what's going on. I'm not saying at all that reward system should not be implemented. In fact, it can work in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, if taken to the extreme, will actually hinder the child from using his or her strength, because reward systems are focused on the outcomes. I need to produce in order to get something. So it's almost like a trade-off, or a business negotiation, right? And parenting is a lot more than that. It is better to have a strategy and a plan for really connecting with your children, understanding who they are, spending quality time with them. Don't focus so much on the punishment and the rewards. I've had parents ask me, well, what if I don't take away anything? Then they don't learn from their mistakes, or they don't learn from their disobedience. That's not necessarily true, because remember that consequences are not just the ones that we impose. There are also natural consequences, and the teaching and the learning don't really come from the punishment and rewards. You teach and they learn when you're sitting down, having dinner at the table, talking about things that happen throughout the day, or when you are in the car ride, and just talking about regular things. The children don't, or even teens, and I say children loosely, I mean like any age, at any age, and I know it happens a lot with older children too, with the whole if you didn't do your homework, then you can't have TV time today, which is again, that is okay. However, what I'm trying to say is that don't take it to the extreme where that's the only thing that happens in your parenting. You have to be present, and you have to show up in your children's lives, not just when they're doing something wrong or when you want to compliment what they did or what they finished and what they accomplished. There's more impact in their lives when you can randomly tell them, oh, how is this friend doing? Remember you told me last week that they were so and so doing this. When you really show that you're paying attention, I promise you, like, their world changes, and that's what you want. So you want to be randomly saying like, oh, I know you like this, I know you mentioned that you like this particular book and I saw it at the store, and that kind of stuff. I hope I'm explaining that correctly, but when you show that you've been paying attention and that you've been listening and hanging on to every word they say, that makes more impact than, okay, you get $1 for every, $1 is not a good example. You'll get $10 for every A that you get, that, this quarter. Or, what's another, or like, you'll get 2 hours of TV time if you do this, right? So those things can be like supplements, but they cannot be the main thing in the parenting. The best parenting tool is to make sure that you are connecting, to make sure that you are listening, and make sure that you are engaging in all conversations and all of the activities that you have. If you have a struggle with like staying put, right? Because as parents, we have a million things in our minds. If you find it a little bit challenging to really engage with them, you can use a timer. You could schedule it, and what I mean by scheduling it is it's for you, like your internal schedule. You can set a reminder on your phone to say, like, from 5:30 to 6, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit there with my child, with my teenager, and I'm gonna listen, wholeheartedly to what they're saying. And then you can put a timer, and then you can, tell them too, like, and it works. I mean, you'll have to try it out and see, what kind of wordings you could do, but it works for as young as like a 3-year-old, even, to just say, like, okay, when your timer is up, like, right, because you set out 30 minutes of no distraction and just fully being there with your child. So once your timer goes off and you need to do something, You can explain to your child and just say, mommy has to go wash the dishes now and I'll be right back, or mommy has to load the laundry and we can play again later, but for now, like, you can just you're free to like color or do or go in your playroom or things like that for the younger kids. And for the older kids, it's there's really no explanation that would be needed. But if you set a time for them exclusively, and you do have to be exclusive once in a while. We can talk about this too, like how much time do you really need to spend with your children. We'll talk about it another time, but you do have to be exclusive with them once in a while. Like, I'm not saying it has to happen every day, because that's not real life, but what I'm saying is that if you set a specific time with them and you let them know, okay, on Saturday, like, we're gonna go here, or like just you and me, that kind of thing. Those things, those techniques work so much better than punishment and rewards. And then you won't have to ask, what is the best way to discipline your children, because that wouldn't be like the main focus of your relationship with them. And you're not always on guard. It takes a lot of energy to be on guard and always just watching what your kids are doing, and it's like you're almost ready to okay, this is the punishment, this is the consequence, and this is what you get for showing this, and this is what you don't get for not doing this. If you spend time connecting with your children, their cooperation it'll increase cooperation at home, and I promise you will repeat yourself less and less and less. And I will include the link to the free resource that I created. It's called 15 Ways to Affirm Your Children. Very specific ways. I might do a live stream or something. I was thinking about this the other day, of going through each of the 15 ways to affirm your children, because there's just a lot to be said about each one of them. And I would like for all of you to be able to like take away from that resource, or I might do a video on that specific topic and going through each one of those ways. I have not decided yet, but I will get to that. So I hope that you all have a great day. If you have questions, please feel free to just comment on here. And for those of you who are watching the replay, hello. And again, you can reach me by email or by messenger, so many ways, or just commenting on the live stream or the replay. And I will post the link to the guide of 15 ways to affirm your children. And I will see you all next week. I'll be back on Thursday. I have not decided on the topic yet, but I will let you know. It helps me a lot to hear how to say certain things. Oh yes, somebody had asked me that too. They were like, it would help if what would be the best way to say something. Someone's calling me and I don't know the number, but yeah, I will try and get to that. And Emily, if you have something specific, let me know. or specific situations or specific examples, so that I can like kind of be more specific. I use the word specific, like, but I so that I could be I could use a particular, like, okay, so what do I need to say in this situation? So yeah, tone can make such a big difference. Absolutely. The approach too. It's really funny because I had a meeting with some parents, and we were talking, like, I walked them through as far as like, okay, this is what you say if she says this, because, like, you know, we were working on because their teenage daughter had been pretty defiant, and they wanted to know like step by step on like what to say in the situation. And then so we did a role play on that. But yeah, definitely we can talk about that as well. So that is it, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye.